The Mission District. If you've heard of San Francisco, you've probably heard of the Mission. It's the neighborhood everyone is talking about. The food scene, the murals, the culture, the weather, all of it is here. But what is it actually like to live here? In this video, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, my name is Epstein. I'm a lifelong San Franciscan and realtor here in the city. On this channel, I break down what it's actually like to live in San Francisco. In today's video, I'm taking you on a deep dive into the Mission District. If you're thinking about moving to the Mission, buying, selling, or even renting in San Francisco or close by, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to be a resource for you. You can find my contact information below. And if you want more local specific insight, please make sure you're subscribed. Number 1. Food and drink. The Mission District is one of the best food scenes in the entire city, and it's not even close. This is where the Mission style burrito was born. It's where you'll find some of the city's best taquerias, upscale restaurants, coffee shops, and everything in between. You can literally eat at a different spot every day here for months on end and still not have tried everything. If food culture is important to you, then the Mission delivers in a way that no other San Francisco neighborhood can. If you visit the Mission and don't get a burrito, you're doing it all wrong. La Taqueria on Mission Street is often called the world's best burrito. People travel here from all over the Bay just to eat there. Heads up, the line could be long. On weekends, people expect to wait 30 to 60 minutes here easily. Here's what makes this place different. They don't put rice in their burritos. It's meat, beans, cheese, salsa, and guac. That's it. It's a traditional style and it works. If you go, many suggest getting the carne asada super burrito and getting it toasted. It's cash only, and pro tip, if you're able to, go on a weekday to avoid those weekend lines. Now, if you want to try a different spot or want to go somewhere late at night, go to El Farolito. Taqueria El Farolito is open until around 3 a.m. on most weekday nights, and even later on weekends. There are a couple locations, and one of them is very close to the 24th Street BART station. The burritos here are massive and hit the spot. Also cash only, this is a local favorite, especially after a night out. The beauty of the Mission is everyone has a passionate opinion on which taqueria is the best. It's all personal preference, and that's all part of the culture here. Beyond burritos, the Mission has a strong local bar and nightlife culture. The bar on Casements is a classic neighborhood dive bar. It's casual, friendly, and a great place to meet locals. The inside is cozy, and it has a great outdoor patio section that I recommend checking out. Sycamore is another popular spot. It's known for great cocktails, a social atmosphere, and it gets very busy on the weekends. If you want dessert, there are some great options at that department as well. Smitten Ice Cream makes ice cream to order with liquid nitrogen. It might sound gimmicky, but I've heard the texture here with the ice cream is incredibly creamy. For boba or bubble tea, Little Sweet has a location in this neighborhood, and it's very popular amongst the young crowd. Whether you want boba, ice cream, or late night tacos, the Mission has it covered for you. Now, if you're looking for something more upscale, the Mission has that as well. Foreign Cinema is an iconic San Francisco restaurant. It has a beautiful outdoor courtyard where they project films on the wall while you're eating. The food here is California Mediterranean style, and it is a perfect spot for a date night or special occasion. You'll want to reserve here ahead of time because it fills up quick. Another spot is Lazy Bear. This is a Michelin star restaurant with a tasting menu format. It features communal dining, which means that you're eating with other people. It's a full experience, and you'll need to book well in advance, but if you have the budget for it, it could be great for a special occasion. For something more casual, I've heard Beretta on Valencia Street is fantastic. They do Italian food, specifically pasta and pizza. They're also known to have an excellent wine and cocktail bar. It gets loud and crowded, but in a good way that reflects the neighborhood. Lastly, coffee culture is huge here in the Mission. 4 Barrel Coffee is one of the OG coffee spots in all of San Francisco. You can watch them roast their beans in the back of the shop. The place is chic and laptop friendly. If you're into good coffee, this is a must visit. Stable Cafe is another gem. It features a beautiful patio and an upstairs loft. I don't believe they have Wi-Fi, but you'll still see people working here. The vibe here is relaxed, and it feels like a hidden garden in the middle of the city. The bottom line is this: living in the Mission means that you'll never run out of new places to try. The food scene alone is worth a higher rent for many people. If food matters for you, the Mission delivers. 2. Lifestyle and atmosphere. The Mission has the most distinctive personality of any neighborhood in San Francisco. This isn't a neighborhood trying to be something. It already is something. The Mission has a cultural authenticity that other neighborhoods don't have. Historically, the area has been the heart of the San Francisco Latinos community. The cultural identity is still very much present today, even though it has changed dramatically over the last 15 to 20 years. One of the most visible parts of that culture is the street art. The Mission is known for its murals, and these aren't just decorations. They're community expression, they're activism. They tell stories about social justice, culture, and identity. You'll see these throughout the neighborhood, but Balmy Alley is probably the most famous. It's located between 24th and 25th Street off of Harrison. There are over 30 murals here. The project started in the 1970s and has been evolving ever since. If you go, I recommend going during the day. The lighting is better for the photos and you'll be safer. Clarion Alley is another one. It's between Valencia and Mission Street, near 17th and 18th. The alley has over 700 murals created since 1992. The art here is more politically charged and changes frequently. Again, for the same reasons above, I recommend visiting during the day. Walking through these alleys is like walking through an outdoor gallery. It actually means something to the people that live here. It's not performative and it's real. Now let's talk about the neighborhood's character. The Mission has two main corridors and they feel very different from one another. Valencia Street is more upscale. Here you'll find boutiques, coffee, bars, and restaurants that cater to a more young, professional crowd. It's polished and it's where a lot of newer residents hang out. The Mission Street is grittier and more working class. Here you'll see more Latino-owned businesses, taquerias, corner stores, and produce markets. It's more authentic to the Mission's historical identity. Both streets are part of the same neighborhood, but represent two different versions of the Mission. That difference is part of what makes the Mission so interesting. The vibe here is urban. It's not a quiet neighborhood and there's energy on the streets. There's always something happening that you can walk to. That is why the walk score here is 98 or 99 out of 100. A lot of people decide to bike here too. Valencia Street has protected bike lanes and the neighborhood is flat, which makes biking here a lot easier compared to the rest of the city. Public transportation here is everywhere. You'll see BART stations, buses constantly running, the J Church train, which runs along Dolores Street, and beautiful wide streets with tree-lined medians. Living car-free here is totally normal. A lot of residents here don't own a car because they don't need to. Now, I do want to be honest and talk about how the Mission has changed a lot within the last 15 or so years. Rents have gone up significantly and some long-term residents have been displaced. With that being said, there is some tension between the old Mission and the new Mission. If you're thinking about moving here, it's something that you should be aware of. This neighborhood has a strong identity and the people here care to preserve it. If you want to live in a neighborhood where you feel like you're in the city, where there's cultural authenticity, where you may run into people and there's energy on the streets, then the Mission District delivers that. If you're considering the Mission, what matters the most to you? The food, the culture, or the location? Drop a comment down below. I'm curious what draws most people here. Segment 3, parks, recreation, and green space. Mission Dolores is the social heart of the neighborhood, and honestly, it's one of the best parks in all of San Francisco. The park is 16 acres and sits right in the heart of the Mission. The views here are incredible. Here, you get a direct view of San Francisco's downtown skyline. On a sunny day, which the Mission District has a lot of, this is where many residents come together. What makes this park special is the scene. It's diverse, social, and energetic. You'll see families with kids, people sunbathing, dogs running around, groups having picnics, and people just hanging out. On a nice day over the weekend, it can get packed. You'll also see a ton of street vendors walking around trying to sell food, drinks, and other things. The park features some amenities as well. There are 2 playgrounds, which is great if you have kids. There are tennis courts, 2 sets of restrooms, and both sunny areas and shaded areas under trees that you can enjoy. The J Church train drops you right off at the park, which makes it super accessible. From a real estate perspective, if you live near Dolores Park, your value immediately goes up. Proximity to the park is that desirable. People often say that a day at Dolores Park on a sunny day is peak San Francisco, and they're not wrong. I personally have a ton of fond memories of going to Dolores Park with friends. Whether I'm going on a sunny day to sit on a blanket and relax in the grass, people watch and look at beautiful dogs, show up and end up dancing with all of the great music playing, or playing spike ball, frisbee, or throwing a football around with friends, Dolores Park is one of the best places in all of San Francisco. Beyond Dolores Park, there's Mission Pool and Playground on 19th and Linda. This pool is open seasonally and is one of the few public pools in the city. Families love it here, and there's a rec center with community activities and programs. Garfield Square is another park on 25th and Harrison. It's more local and less touristy than Dolores Park. If you want something quieter, that's a good option. Segment 4, housing and architecture. The Mission offers some of the most beautiful and diverse housing stock in the entire city. This is classic San Francisco architecture. Victorians, Edwardians, colorful painted facades, high ceilings, and period details. This is what people picture when they think of San Francisco architecture. Most of the buildings here were built in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Many are 2 to 4 unit buildings, and some have been renovated. Others are still vintage and classic in nature. You'll also see modern condos, especially on Valencia and Mission Street. There are fewer single-family homes in the Mission than other neighborhoods, but they still do exist. They're typically on the quieter residential streets, and they come at a higher price tag. In the neighborhood, the streets themselves are iconic. They're wide boulevards with tree-lined medians running through the center. The trees are beautiful and give the neighborhood a different feel compared to others. Most neighborhoods in San Francisco feature much more narrow streets, and the commercial corridors like Valencia and Mission Street are busier and louder. You get architectural variety here, with fully renovated Victorians with modern interiors to brand new condos with contemporary finishes. It depends on your style and budget. Now let's talk about the area from a real estate perspective. The Mission District is generally more affordable than Pac Heights, Noe Valley, or the Marina District. With that being said, it's still expensive by most standards. Prices rose significantly during the tech boom, and they have remained high. Here, you're paying for location, weather, and lifestyle. Parking can be an issue. Most buildings don't include parking, and for those that do, you're paying a premium. Street parking can be competitive. You can be circling for 10 to 20 minutes to find parking in most areas, especially on weekends. That's why many locals here don't have cars. On the bright side, you do have sufficient public transportation, which makes it easier not to have one in the first place. Space is another trade-off here. Typical units here are 1 to 2 bedrooms. They're smaller than what you can get in the suburbs, and Victorian layouts tend to be a little quirky. Some units have weird hallways or even oddly shaped rooms. But that's just the nature of older buildings here in San Francisco. If you need a big house with a backyard and a garage, then the Mission District may not be for you. But if you want to live in an area with character, where you can walk everywhere, and where you're surrounded by beautiful architecture, then the Mission District is just that. Number 5, commute and transportation. The Mission has some of the best transit access in all of San Francisco. If you work downtown or in Soma, it's one of the easiest commutes in the city. You genuinely do not need a car to live here. There are 2 BART stations in the Mission, 16th Street Mission and 24th Street Mission. 16th Street is on the northern part of the Mission, and 24th Street is on the southern part of the Mission. Both give you direct access to downtown, the financial district, the East Bay, and our international airport. Just to give you a sense of how close and how fast these places are, if you're going downtown, that's a 5 to 7 minute BART ride. If you're going to the financial district, that's about 10 minutes away. If you're going to the airport, it's only 30 minutes away. And if you're going to Oakland or Berkeley, it's anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes away. This is why many people choose to live in the Mission. The transit access here is a game changer. There's also the J Church Muni Metro line. This runs along Dolores Street and stops right at Dolores Park. This travels from the Ferry Building, through the Mission, and all the way to Balboa Park. Biking is huge here too. Valencia Street has protected bike lanes, and the streets here are relatively flat. The bike score here is 99, which is as good as it gets. It's fast, convenient, and the infrastructure is there. Now regarding driving and parking, as we said, parking here can get quite competitive. Resident parking permits help, but they don't guarantee you'll find a spot closer to your building. Car break-ins can also be an issue here, like many other areas in San Francisco. But to minimize the risk here, I recommend to never leave valuables in your car. If you need to drive for work, the Mission has pretty good freeway access. 101 is close by and 280 is accessible. Commute times by car to Soma or the financial district are about 10 to 20 minutes depending on traffic. If you're going to Palo Alto or somewhere else close by in the peninsula, you can expect to drive for 45 to 60 minutes depending on traffic. The transit score here is 100 and the walk score here is 98 or 99, which makes it a walker's paradise. If you work downtown, you're golden. If you commute to the peninsula every day, it's doable. However, many prefer to live closer to a Caltrain station. All in all, the Mission offers some of the best transit access in all of the city. Number 6, weather and microclimates. The Mission District offers some of the best weather in the entire city, and it's not even close. This is one of the main reasons people choose to live here. San Francisco is famous for its microclimates. I've talked about it on this channel many times before, but for those of you that don't know, the weather here can be completely different depending on what neighborhood you're in. The Mission features some of the sunniest and warmest weather in the entire city. While the Sunset, Mission, and even the Marina districts are foggy and cold, the Mission District is sunny and warm. This isn't a small thing, it's a huge quality of life difference. Here's why. The Mission sits in a valley. It's protected by Twin Peaks and other hills to its west. When the fog rolls in from the ocean, it hits those hills and stays there. Because of that, it doesn't make it over to the Mission. So while the west side of the city is covered by fog, the Mission is getting direct sunlight. The temperature difference can be drastic. It's not uncommon for the Marina to be 58 degrees, cold and foggy, while the Mission is 72 degrees with the sun. Also, San Francisco's warmest months is not typically during the summer. However, in the Mission District, the summer is actually quite warm. Generally, in the city, the warmest months are around September or October. What this actually means for your daily life is that you may spend more times outdoors here if you were to live here. It means Dolores Park's culture actually exists because the weather allows it to. It means dining outside is pleasant. It means walking around the neighborhood doesn't always require multiple layers of clothes. It ultimately means fewer gray, depressing days. The weather here is the secret reason the Mission feels so alive. People are outside because it's actually pleasant to be outdoors. Now, there is a trade-off. It can get super hot in September and October, which are San Francisco's warmest months, like I mentioned previously. With that being said, most buildings in the Mission District, heck, even in the entire city, don't have air conditioning. So when it does feel like 85 or 90 degrees, which can happen, especially in the Mission, it can get super uncomfortable inside. But typically, most people see this as a minor disadvantage and are willing to accept it compared to the overall weather advantage. Other people actually miss the fog. If you love the classic San Francisco fog aesthetic, this area might not be right for you. The weather is a top reason the people choose the Mission. It directly affects property values as many buyers are tired of living in foggy neighborhoods and want to move to sunnier areas. If you've lived in the Sunset and moved to the Mission, it feels like moving to a different city entirely. The quality of life improvement is that significant. Now on to my local practical insights. What I see people get wrong about the Mission is thinking that it's all one thing. It's not. The Mission has pockets, and that's what makes it different from other areas. The northern Mission, closer to 16th Street, is young and lively. This is where you come if you want to experience a louder, busier area. Think bars and nightlife. If you want to be in the middle of action, this is where to be. Now the southern Mission, closer to 24th, is more residential. It's quieter and you'll see more families here. The vibe here is a little more grounded. It still has great food and access to everything, but doesn't feel as intense. Valencia Street is more polished and Mission Street is more grittier. Both are part of the Mission, but they attract different people. The truth is, specific street blocks and buildings in the Mission are entirely different. A block can make a big difference in terms of noise, feel, and overall safety. And that's where local expertise matters. If you're thinking about moving to the Mission, buying, selling, or anything real estate related in San Francisco, please feel free to reach out to me at my contact information below. I'd be more than happy to be a resource for you. And if you want more San Francisco neighborhood breakdowns and real estate insights, please subscribe. Like this video if it helped, and comment down below what neighborhood you want me to do next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.